Good morning, Year 10. I hope you're well and having a lovely day. For your do now, I would like you to write down as many quotes as you can from Key Moment 1. Pause the video to do that now. Okay, so your title is, What is the relationship like between Birling, Eric and Gerald? So, your do now review. You may have written down the following quotes. If you didn't get them, can you please write them down now? A hard-headed businessman. And to that I say, fiddlesticks. The Germans don't want war. Nobody wants war. Unsinkable, absolutely unsinkable. Peace and prosperity and rapid progress everywhere, except of course in Russia, which will always be behind naturally. A man has to make his own way, has to look after himself. As if we were all mixed up together, like bees in a hive. Community and all that nonsense. I wanted you to have the benefit of my experience. So we learn a lot about Mr. Birling from Key Moment 1. We know that he's not very emotional, he's very focused on his work, he has quite outdated views, and we learn that he's quite misguided. He makes a lot of predictions that we know as contemporary audience, and as the audience at the time would have known, didn't in fact come to pass. And also he's very capitalist, doesn't like socialist ideas. So that is a review of Key Moment 1. So please could you read pages 10 to 13 in your copy of the play. This passage includes references to Eric, Edna, Birling, Gerald and the inspector. Pause the video to do that now. Okay, so stage directions can be very revealing. What do you notice about the relationships between the three men in this short extract? Use evidence to support your ideas. So you've got 7 minutes. Please read through it and jot down your ideas in your book. So what you want to notice is how Gerald's interactions with Birling are generally positive. They are keen to impress each other, lightly, humorously, creating a warm and positive tone. Remember Mr. Birling's words from earlier. You're just the kind of son-in-law I've always wanted. So they have a really positive relationship. Eric's interactions with his father are uneasy and sharp. They do not understand each other. At this point, the audience are unaware of Eric's actions and why this conversation might make him uncomfortable. Eric is left out of the joke and he is treated like a child. Birling even scolds him. What's the matter with you? And Eric is defiant. Can you write now the subtitle of An Inspector Calls exam? For your English literature exam, you will complete 2 papers. An Inspector Calls, alongside Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, will be in paper 1. The Inspector Calls question is divided into 2 separate questions. Part A, comparing an extract from AIC with an extract from an unseen play, 20 marks, and Part B, exploring a moment from the play from memory, 20 marks. So can you please write that down? Today, we will start to look at comparing extracts with a focus on making connections. So please take a moment to read what's on the slide. Exam hints and tricks. You should aim to write 1.5 pages for each question. That's roughly 3 develop points in each essay. For every page that you write, you should aim to include 4 to 6 quotations. Can you please write that down? In Part A include situational context, evidence, terminology, analysis. Part B is slightly different, but we'll come to that later in our studies. So can you please write what to include in Part A and write out situational context, evidence, terminology, and language and structure analysis. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is read through the extract, which is attached on class charts, and annotate it. So firstly, you're going to read through the extracts carefully. First, you start with the extract you're not familiar with, remembering to keep the question in your mind. What are the parent-child relationships like? You focus on language and structure, but most importantly, the potential effect on the modern audience, both contemporary and modern. What are your expectations for the situations the characters are in? How are they similar or different? Pause the video to do that now. Okay, so at this stage in the play, Act 1, Sheila appears to have a very good relationship with her parents. No, not yet. In response to Mr. Birling's, I'm not a purple-faced old man, and her gentle encouragement of Sybil, yes, go on, Mummy, you must drink to her health. Birling does not respond to his daughter's gentle teasing, but instead focuses on his wife's needs. Perhaps to do with meeting conventions. It's a celebratory moment. Mr. Birling's relationship with Gerald is good. It's clear they're trying to impress each other. So do make a note of that, please. Mrs. Birling seeks to respond on Sheila's behalf, taking the opportunity to demonstrate to Sheila how these situations should be handled. Eric's behaviour is not in keeping with the mood of the room. The parents do not respond to him verbally, but condemn his behaviour with a look. Again, could you write that down? So moving onto the next text, the relationship between Catherine and Eddie is affectionate and positive. They clearly seek each other's approval. Eddie, clearly proud of Catherine, beautiful, oh if your mother was alive to see you now. Eddie is protective over Catherine. I think it's too short, but perhaps shows that he is out of touch with Catherine's life. Eddie worries about Catherine. You ain't all the girls. I'm responsible for you. Catherine desperately seeks Eddie's approval, almost in tears because he does not approve. Please could you write down? Okay, so now I'd like you to spend 15 minutes planning. You need to plan your comparisons. Pick 3 comparative ideas and create an essay plan. Remember, you need to include comparative connectives, evidence, terminology, analysis, and situational context. Look at all of your points. What connects your ideas? What is your overall argument going to be? Write a sentence to sum this up. After that, please write your opening paragraph. Pause the video for 15 minutes to do this now. And that's the end of your lesson today. Thank you very much for your hard work. I'm really looking forward to looking at your plans. Please let me know if you need anything by emailing me. So thank you once again, and I'll speak to you next time.